what's up? Check out this blunt and honest review from the Jock and Nerd Podcast. That's us. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the jock.
He's the nerd.
And he's the rug boy.
What's up, guys?
Jock and Nerd. All right, let's get into this week's review. We are going to be taking a look at the OG, the original, The Karate Kid from 1984. Here's your spoiler alerts for a 40-year-old movie.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
And Anthony, this was also your suggestion. I thought it was a great suggestion.
Yeah, that's correct. This was mine because, as you may have noticed lately, when we review classic things, in this case we did Cobra Kai last week, and what it's derivative of, or what it's a sequel of, we usually go back and review the classic. We did this with Beetlejuice and other things that Yep, there you go. Things I'm forgetting.
Yeah.
So we're doing this with the Karate Kid.
Oh my God, so perfect because I fucking love Cobra Kai. We talked about it last week, so to go back to the original was
going back to the source and not the magazine, which is out of
print,
out of running, out of print.
They don't make magazines anymore. What are you talking about? It's a magazine. It's where they print the internet on paper, and glue it together. You can watch this on Netflix. The first three, I think all of them are on Netflix currently. Movie originally released June 22nd, 1984. Summer of 84. What a year. Like you said, Anthony, this movie launches the franchise that consists of 5 movies with a 6th coming out this year in May. I had 1 season of an animated Saturday morning show in 1989. I remember watching that. And then, of course, the Cobra Kai series. There's also 2 video games that came out in the 80s. I think there's a Cobra Kai video game as well. Came out more recently. On the Rotten Tomatoes, 89% tomato meter for the Karate Kid, 83% popcorn meter audience rating. This movie was made for just $8 million and finishes a box office run of $130 million. Not bad at all. The number 5th highest grossing movie in 1984. Anthony, what are some of those movies we had in 1984?
I got 4.
Oh, you got it at 4? Okay.
Yeah, for the calendar grosses.
All right, what else we got?
Regardless of when it was released, how much did it make in its run as long as it was released in 84? So for calendar year, number 1, man, you guys are going to cream yourselves.
This is a great fucking year, bro. 84 is a monumental year.
Yeah. You guys might start kissing. So number 1, Ghostbusters.
Oh, yes.
Movie we reviewed.
Yep.
Number 2, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Yeah, unbelievable.
3, Gremlins.
Oh, man, we should do that one.
Classics. They're all classics.
4, according to my records, The Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
5, Police Academy.
Nice.
6,
I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Footloose.
Oh, Punch
7,
Dance.
I don't know if we reviewed this or not. Beverly Hills Cop. I don't know if we have.
No, we did the new one, but that's a big one.
Number 8, Star Trek 3, Search for Spock.
Fantastic.
Another classic.
9, Terms of Endearment.
Okay.
And then 10, Romancing the Stone.
That's a great movie, too.
Other notables from this year. You got Purple Rain.
Oh.
The Natural. Revenge of the Nerds.
Oh.
Red Dawn.
And Down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Number 21 that year, The Terminator.
Oh, shit.
You've got Friday the 13th.
Whoa.
Bro.
Final chapter. Conan the Destroyer.
Wow.
Also, have got a movie we reviewed, The Last Starfighter on here. You've got Scarface on here.
1984.
16 Candles.
Jeez, all these movies came out the same year. It's amazing.
84.
It's amazing.
And
what a fucking year.
For you Oscar buffs, the Dune movie came out this year.
Oh, the David Lynch one. Rest in peace. Yes.
Never-ending Story also this year.
Splash also came out that year. I think he didn't.
Wow, all bangers. All classics.
Can I just mention Police Academy, which I think is like a PG movie, has a running blowjob joke throughout it, and I was like 8 years old.
Yeah, the guy's at the podium and someone's sucking his dick.
And then it happens again, and I was like 8 years old watching this, and this is just what you did back in the day.
Yeah, you don't know that she's taking. You don't know what she's doing with his dick. You just know that something's happening.
Maybe it was rated R, and I shouldn't have been watching
it.
Maybe no.
Supergirl also this year.
Oh, that's year. No, Police Academy was rated R, and clearly I shouldn't have been watching it. So something went wrong, and I watched this. Anyways, yes, fucking fantastic year. We could do a whole tournament in 1984 if we wanted to. This movie, written by Robert Mark Kamen. This is his idea. He goes on to write The Fifth Element.
What was the movie? There was a movie in 1984, right?
Oh,
Yes.
yes, based on the book.
Yeah. 84. Interesting, crazy year.
It's a great year. Yeah.
Was it? How old were you in 84?
I was 8 years old when this movie came out.
And didn't the first Macintosh came out in 1984?
I think around then, like the Lisa model, it started coming out. But yeah, I definitely saw Karate Kid when I was like 8 or 9.
Okay.
Right away. So anyways, Robert Mark Kamen writes this. He goes on to write Fifth Element, Karate Kid 3, Taken, Transporter, directed by John G. Avildsen.
What did he do?
He directed Karate Kid 2 and 3, but before this, he directed Rocky. And then he comes back.
Rocky.
He does Rocky 5. So a lot of this makes sense watching this movie. Music by the great Bill Conti, who also did the music for Rocky, and starring, of course, this movie, a fresh-faced Ralph Macchio. He's 22 years old.
Playing a 15 turning 16-year-old.
Playing like a high school
and looks the part.
I know. He looks like he's fucking 12.
He's the oldest guy amongst everyone on that set.
William Zabka playing Johnny Lawrence was 18, I think, when they shot this.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Shue playing Allie was also a teenager. And then you have Noriyuki Pat Morita, the great Pat Morita.
Fun fact about Ralph Macchio.
Yeah.
He is older than the dude that plays Terry Silver.
Oh, shit, he's older than Terry Silver. You would never know. What the genes on this man.
Yeah, crazy.
I mean, in Karate Kid Legends, he looks even younger than he does in Cobra Kai. I don't know how that's
they just have really good makeup and like CG.
Good lighting. Young Martin Krove as John Kreese. Pat Morita, by the way, just finishing his run as Arnold on Happy Days. And can speak perfect English. You wouldn't know that from watching this. It's amazing. And then you got a couple of the Cobra Kai guys that you actually see in the Cobra Kai TV show. Rob Garrison is Tommy. Ron Thomas is Bobby Brown. You see him in some of those early seasons. You have two kids of famous actors in this. Chad McQueen playing Dutch, who's Steve McQueen's kid, and Frank Burt Avalon playing Chucky, who's Frankie Avalon's offspring. Pat Morita, back to Pat Morita. He does get an Oscar nomination for this movie, Best Supporting Actor. And the movie also largely credited for popularizing karate again in the States. But Anthony,
that's me.
This rated PG movie, 2 hours, 7 minutes. I feel like everybody has watched this, but what happens in the
There are people. I've talked to a few people
that
have not seen this.
Whoa. What is
the Karate Kid about? This is about a teenage boy named Danny LaRusso that has a mom. He's a product of a single mom, and they moved from Jersey to the Valley in Cali because she has a new job, and he has no friends, and he's going to high school, and a girl catches his eye, but the girl that catches his eye also has ties to a karate gang that is bullying him, and he needs to find his way in a new place with a girl that he likes and no father figure and a bunch of bullies, and he stumbles upon a old Japanese man that teaches him karate and uses karate to teach him about life and build a relationship with him that will lead to a tournament at the end.
Did you watch this again recently?
I watched it again. I've seen this movie tons of times, but I did rewatch it for this podcast.
When was the first time you saw it? Do you remember the feeling you had?
Man, I when I was a kid, I don't remember when, but as a kid, I thought it was a fun movie. I didn't really connect with it though until I became a teenager.
Okay.
Yeah. As a kid, I still liked it. Don't get me wrong, but I think you connect more if you're able to watch this as a teenager. I think it really hits you.
I mean, it's absolutely one of those movies you watch as like a young teen, preteen that just hits you the right way. But then watching it again now, did it still hold up for you?
For me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. This is Karate Kid's one of my all-time favorite movies. I own the 4 DVD set. I don't ever watch the fourth one nor much of the third one. But yeah, Karate Kid there's still so many things. I'll keep in mind too. It's karate. It's a father-son movie. It's a guy getting a girl movie. It's a standing up to the bullies.
Yep.
It's a sports movie. I mean, it has a lot of the things that, any high school kid. I don't know what high school kids are like now. I don't hang out with too many of them. I know you do, Imran.
What?
But I don't know what they're like now. But even when I was in high school, this was the type of thing, and you could relate to so many different aspects of this.
I mean, it's an all-time classic. Ruggs, when did you have any memories of this movie and watching it again?
I went to see it in the theater.
Yeah, I think me too. Yeah,
I was a kid,
Yeah.
a little kid. I liked the movie, but I thought just Danny LaRusso, like, I was like, this skinny little, I was gonna say wimp, is gonna be the hero of the story. I don't like this. I like my heroes to be buff, like Stallone.
more relatable though.
Yeah, and so it's a wimpy kid. A wimpy kid's gonna win at karate.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this? So I kind of I liked the movie, but I didn't really get it. But then I watched it when I was a little bit older, and then I don't know what happened. I just, after watching it a few times, it just became part of my DNA.
Yeah.
And I just started to actually, I don't know, read into it, I guess, and get more out of the movie maybe than it even is trying to get across. Because I don't know, I just feel like the idea of this kind of like larger than life person being in your life, and you but he's so mundane.
Yeah.
It's like this just regular guy, but he had so much to offer.
Yeah.
And sometimes you look at your dad, you don't realize he's that same guy.
He has done stuff. You just don't
like
know.
your dad has lived the whole life.
Yeah.
You just don't know about it. You don't care to ask about it. You don't care to look behind the curtain and stuff. So it made me start to think about other things. So this movie is still holds up. Watched it. I didn't have to watch it. I know it by heart.
Yeah.
I wanted to watch it again.
Yeah.
I put it on and I was not disappointed. I didn't get tired. Didn't really look at my phone or anything. I was in it. As as soon as the music comes on and the whole thing, you're good.
Yeah, man, this movie, watching it again, still fucking great, still holds up. But when I was a kid, this is the movie that made me sign up for Taekwondo. Because what you just said is what hit me, is that this wimpy kid is being bullied. What is the answer? Learn karate. That's what I got out of it. I was 8 years old. And just like any 8-year-old with short attention span, I did fucking Taekwondo for maybe 6 months. And I'm like, this sucks. I quit. I'm not punching anyone. And I did that with a bunch of things, but I was 8 years old. That's how it went down. But forever, it was my introduction to karate and martial arts and the quotable lines that everybody was doing. And watching it again, it's amazing how it really takes its time setting up the characters and Miyagi and the training very slowly and judiciously. But every little piece is like another piece of character. Because it like a lot of it is him just adjusting to his new place in Los Angeles or in California. And I still remember as a kid, the moment, we're going to some of your favorite moments, the moment when he makes all the menial labor come together, and it blew my little mind. Like, holy shit, he just taught him karate and he didn't even know he was learning it. Show me, wax the floor.
I love that.
So good.
I love that. And they did it in so many different ways. Like, not just in the, okay, I'm going to make you do house chores and learn karate. Then he takes him fishing. He makes him stand on the fishing boat.
On the boat.
Makes him go out into the ocean and kick the ocean.
Yep.
And do all these different things like that are unconventional. And it's interesting because it puts Miyagi, like Mr. Miyagi, in like an otherworldly, almost like, like not say Jesus, but he has powers. He can heal people with his hands.
Yeah.
He has this knowledge and his stillness, and is able to kind of like outthink a lot of things and have faith and not worry and not get all worked up over things. So it's really cool. Like that, there's this kind of magic in there.
Anthony, what does Miyagi mean to you? Arguably the best, like he carries the movie and he's got the best lines in the movie.
Oh, Miyagi's awesome. Well, rewatching this movie now, even back in the day, I was like, oh, Mr. Miyagi, he's cool. Yeah. Like there's something about like this old Japanese guy that could kick everyone's ass. I thought, like he looks kind of lame, but he's cool for some reason. And watching this as an adult, I really, connect with all aspects of the film, but I really appreciate Miyagi. Like every time they mention Miyagi and Cobra Kai, I'd be like, damn, that guy's dead.
Yeah.
Like the actor's dead.
Yeah.
And then rewatching the film recently, I mean, you forget, he has a lot of good lines.
Yeah.
Obviously, like the wax on, wax off.
Wax on, wax off was a
that whole thing, which is genius, right?
Yeah.
He's teaching him karate without anyone knowing that he's teaching him karate.
Yeah.
But some of the other stuff too, like the stuff that doesn't really get as much public, isn't as remembered, but rewatching the scene where he's all drunk, and then you find out
amazing scene.
Yeah, and you find out that his mom, or his wife and child died in an internment camp while he was in the military. Like that's really hits.
Yeah.
I thought the other scene that I thought really was emotional, I was like, oh man, this was good. I forgot that this happened, is when he gives him the car for his birthday.
Oh my God, that is so great. And Daniel's like, you're the best friend I ever had.
Yeah, you're the best friend I ever had. And I was like, oh my God, this is awesome.
But you got to commend Pat Morita because he wasn't known for acting like that.
Right.
He was known for being on Happy Days and being in a sitcom.
They almost didn't cast him because they thought he would be too comedic, and he comes in with a beard and that accent and just sells it. And he's so perfect.
But there is some funny stuff too, like when he asks John or Daniel to hit him the first time.
Yeah.
And he hits him and he goes, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's the matter? You hit something like a girl?
What are you, some kind of girl?" He goes,
"You're some kind of girl."
My favorite is in the beginning when he asks to fix the faucet. And he's like, "I'll fix after." He goes, "After when?" He goes, "After." And then the other one, Daniel goes, "Do you have a belt?" He goes, "Yes, canvas, JCPenney, $3.98." So fucking funny.
My favorite one is when he does the karate chops to the top of the bottles.
Oh yes,
like, I know you can do it. He goes, "Me neither." he's like, "Don't know, first time."
I love it. He doesn't know anything.
Oh, but he gives him the keys of the car. He's like, "I don't have a driver's license." He's like, "Me neither."
Me neither. When they get to the tournament and he's never been there, doesn't know how it works. So he's like, "First time you, first time me." It's so funny.
He steals the black belt and gives it to him.
I love it. He steals the black belt.
Oh, but what belt is he? Oh, black belt.
It's another great, like, no talking, just body language acting is when he's sanding the floor and he comes out in his bare feet and he like feels the he feels his like his progress.
Yeah.
He's got the toothpick in his mouth and he's got the wife beater on.
Oh my God.
He just looks like someone's grandfather. Like
oh, for sure. The verisimilitude where you feel like you're with him.
Yeah.
You feel like this is how anyone's grandfather back in the day was sitting around in a wife beater.
That's perfect.
Sorry, a tank top. Excuse me.
Yeah,
they were sitting around like back then. You always just outside, probably like sweaty. Pits were kind of smelly.
Yeah. You could smell that fucking scene. Like I could smell it. I mean, even in the beginning when he's teaching him about the bonsai tree, he's giving him lessons right away. And like when he gives them the trees, it's so nice. I just remember that scene where you see his silhouette climb over the fucking fence and then he just kicks their ass and you're like, this dude is fucking badass. That's a fucking great scene.
I honestly think while we're talking about Pat Morita, I think Ralph Macchio like equally gives just as good a performance.
He does hold his own. There's that long take where after he gets beat up and he wakes up and he's giving him tea, like that's a 5-minute scene is one take. The camera does not cut away and the acting is phenomenal and it's really funny. The chemistry is there. And it's weird that this 15-year-old hang out with this old Japanese man, but it works.
Well, he's looking for a father.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And,
go ahead, Rugs.
Yeah. I mean, you have to put yourself in his shoes. Like he's got nobody and this one person is talking to him.
Yeah.
And, even the first guy he meets, Freddie, the Fernandez, fucking turn.
Yo, what happened to Freddie?
Turns on him.
I know. I thought Freddie was going to be watching it again. I was like, I don't remember Freddie. I thought he was going to be like a good friend. He's friendly. He meets him right away.
No,
and then
they all bail on him because he got beat up.
Yeah.
Beat up,
which is the worst offense.
What a loser!
Could happen is being tripped.
Yeah, I mean, he gets beat up, and they go literally while Freddie's standing there looking at him. One of the guys goes, "Where'd you find this guy?"
Fucking Freddie, I just fucking man up for your bro. You said you guys were buddies. I thought you guys were buddies. Nope.
But I mean, Daniel. I mean, you got to think about the performance of Ralph Macchio. He's 21 in this movie.
Yeah, while he's
playing a
shooting
15-year-old, and like he just looks, and he looks 15.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's the genes, it's the body type, but he looks like a scrawny kid that probably would get his ass beat. And all that.
He's got that like awkward teenager look where like they're not fully grown yet.
Yeah, he's lanky.
Yeah, I don't know how he's doing that. I don't know, like the way he's like walking around and he does look like he's still growing into his body.
Yeah, it's really good. He holds his own. The Cobra Kai series presented us the case that Daniel was the asshole and Johnny Lawrence, like, you get that Johnny he's just misunderstood and he's got a bad teacher and maybe he's not a bad guy. But there are moments in this.
I wouldn't say he's misunderstood. You're taking it a little too far.
Right,
he is definitely a bad guy, but it's because he has a bad teacher.
He has a bad teacher, and that's what
he has a bad father figure.
And Miyagi.
Well, like in the beginning of the movie, you see Johnny when he rolls up onto the beach.
Right.
He's telling his friends that he doesn't want any beer.
Right.
He doesn't want to drink.
Give him a warm
and he's
one.
turning over a new leaf, and then he immediately acts like an asshole.
Yeah. I remember Imran, you were floating this narrative that when we were watching Cobra Kai that Johnny was right the entire time, and I watched this film and I'm like, there's no way you can come to that conclusion.
There's one case I can make one argument. The scene, first of all, it's hilarious that Miyagi helps him make that shower costume. Like, you see it in the room right behind him, and like, just think about. I wish they showed that because it's really funny that he helped him make the shower costume. But the scene where Dana goes in the bathroom and Johnny's in the stall rolling a joint, right? Okay, so this is a high school kid. Weed is hard to come by. It's very rare. He's rolling a joint.
You're making some argument
This
that's like, all right, we already know where you're going with this. It's not a real argument.
And gets his joint wet, bro. That is a cause for an ass whooping. I don't care who you ask. That is definitely case you got my weed wet. I'm gonna kick your ass.
You're not actually making a serious argument.
That's the only part where I was like, okay, that's the reason for ass beating. You don't fucking get your last fucking weed wet. You can't smoke it. It's gone.
You even got to throw in, like, Zabka has a good performance. Like, he's a good asshole. Yeah. He looks like an asshole. His team, the team behind him is crazy overacting, and it's great.
Get him in the body bag. The body bag line.
Put him in a body bag.
Put him in a body bag, man. It's great.
You got the dude, Dutch, who's McQueen's son.
Yeah.
I mean, bleach blonde dyed hair. Like, clearly dyed blonde hair. And already immediately... You can be from any era and go, that kid's a douchebag.
Yes, the blonde eyebrows and hair. What? I was like, what?
Yeah, it looks really out of place.
But I mean, you got that. Then you got to throw in Elizabeth Shue, who's like smoking hot.
Yeah.
Smoking hot. Like that. If you were any era, you see that girl in high school and you're like, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's the prom queen. The only thing I would say, though, they have good chemistry, too. I do like that. But that's a little unrealistic that she would go for him.
Hey, listen, we watched Spider-Man and it's full of that.
I mean, that whole where they get mad at each other because he sees her, that was a little forced. And then she's like, oh, then she just forgives him right away.
She just forgives him, yeah.
Also, it's hilarious.
But I'm saying she would have never even gone for him.
No, I guess not, because she's like...
She takes a liking to him right away.
Yeah, which is odd.
I think that she tries to say, she's like, you're different. You're not Johnny.
Yeah,
and
I guess
she's been with Johnny and he's an asshole.
You know, like these blonde assholes in fucking California.
Imagine dating Johnny. Like, all you're talking about is karate 24/7. That's why she knows how all the rules of the game and everything.
Oh, that because she knew the rules of the tournament. And I was like, how the fuck does she know?
Because remember, Johnny is a 2-time champ already.
Shit. Oh, that explains that.
So he's been doing this shit since he was like 15 years old and winning. So you know she knows all about Cobra Kai.
That's right. That's how Miyagi and him learned. Okay. That's a good explanation. Because I was like,
there's another thing upon rewatch now that I noticed, especially with Cobra Kai, is throughout the movie you start to realize that Kreese is this like really big asshole.
Yeah.
And then you can see during the tournament the team starts to look at Kreese like, maybe this guy is fucked up. Like you can see them turning on him slowly throughout the entire tournament, where it's like, oh, it's Kreese that's actually brainwashed these kids, and then these kids are realizing when he wants to take out Johnny take out Danny by breaking his leg, that they're like, wait a minute, that's a step too far. What are you doing here?
Yeah, but they follow him anyways. But they both
that subtlety I didn't notice. I don't remember as much. I always thought that the kids were just on board with everything, and you realize they're not actually on board.
Yeah, his one friend was always like, even when they're beating him up,
like, that's enough. He'd be like, yeah, that's enough.
Yeah, he was even in the first time when he was fighting him on the beach. I think he was saying stuff too. So I think his character was always like hesitant to do stuff. What's his name? Bobby Brown.
Bobby Brown. Yeah.
Well, he becomes the priest in Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy's the priest, and Tommy shows up, and I think he's not around anymore. Like,
Tommy passed away. He had cancer during the Cobra Kai series.
Bobby Brown's the one who goes, "Get him a bug."
Tommy's the one where if you look in the background during the tournament, he's giving it 200% every time he's on screen.
He's like, yeah,
so great over the top. So great. And then you have like the whole class thing, like Daniel being embarrassed in front of Allie's family. Allie with an eye. Being from
his mom's car breaking down, falling out.
Got push start the fucking thing.
He has they're already looking at him like he's a scumbag.
Yes.
And then that car gets no love because then she picks up Danny and on the date.
Yes.
And they're like,
go,
nice car, Miss LaRusso.
Hi, Miss LaRusso. Yeah, it's totally masculine.
You think, but now that you're bringing up that date, like that date when I watched that when I was a preteen or high school, like that date was for me
perfect.
The epitome of like what I thought all dates should be.
I mean, that place is fun. Golf and stuff. Looks like fun. You get to do go-kart racing.
It's like you get to take a hot girl.
Yeah.
Into this like place where you can do all these activities. Like that for me was name a better high school date scene than that.
It's perfect. It was the perfect wholesome like 80s teenage date scene. That is exactly what you do. Get driven by your parents. I don't know why they all sit in the front seat. I always thought that was weird.
They both sit
yes, they just climb into the front seat.
Was there no middle thing in the
no, the back seat
station wagons? No, there wasn't. There's no console.
No, yeah, it was just like a bench seat. It was
because the shifter used to be on the column.
That's right.
And in those old cars, the whole bench would like move up and back and forth. You'd have to move the whole thing. It was like a whole thing.
That's funny. Yeah, everyone's sitting in the front.
Yeah, I don't know why they're all sitting in the front.
That was like a feature that you paid extra for because you can get an extra person in the car.
Oh, interesting.
To not have the middle. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, just
it was a Chevelle, I believe.
Other favorite moments.
Wagon.
We've talked about basically everything, but I mean, you got to talk about the best for last, which is the tournament.
The tournament is great, and they do play that song. You're the best. Which that's the montage throughout the tournament where he's going through the bracket and winning. So there's that dude in there, Danny Duvall, like that Asian fighter that's in that other dojo. That's like
the guy that did real karate.
Yeah, that guy is really good. Doesn't make it to the end. He was the referee in the final season of Cobra Kai.
Yeah,
that was the same guy. But I was watching this. I was like, what happened to this dude? Why did he win? He's actually good at all the karate.
Yeah, you could clearly tell he was on another level.
So Daniel, having just trained for like 6 months, somehow advances all the way through, defeating everyone, getting to the semifinals. And Daniel has to defeat the blonde dude. Was that Bobby Brown? Blondie? No, yeah. Dutch. And then Johnny beats Danny Duvall.
No, he doesn't beat Dutch. I mean, he beats Dutch, but he beats like 2 or 3 Cobra Kai people on the way to the semis.
Yeah.
But then they say take the leg out, and then he gets a kick to the knee.
Oh, well, first, Kreese makes Tommy do it, right?
Yeah.
Tommy's the one who's like, take him out of commission, and then he fucks his leg up. And
he takes him out, but Tommy's like, I can beat him, coach. And then he goes, I don't care.
I don't have to do this. And then you have that great scene in the locker room where he's lying down and Miyagi fixes his leg. But there's a lot
of... dude, you're wow. You are like...
Am I jumping ahead?
You are bypassing the entire... I mean, that's one of the best scenes of all time. Yeah, what are you talking about?
That's a good scene. Where he's like, he's like, you don't have to fight anymore. You proved your point. And he's like, no, I can't... I'm never going to be able to live this down that they got the best of me.
Right.
And
it all goes back to because Miyagi goes balance, and he goes, he basically says, I wouldn't have any balance in my life if I didn't go back out there. And then you have the whole like can you do the thing? And he's like, okay. You go, and then you get the fucking clap with the music.
Yes,
that's so epic. How are you gonna just gloss over that?
No, I was getting to that. But there's a lot. There's a lot of things in this movie now watching it that they redid in Cobra Kai that I didn't even notice. And like that shot, Robbie was in a similar pose at the end, and that shot on the table after he gets his leg, it's like the same shot. The mailman, I didn't realize this. He comes in, he goes, "Whoa, this place is great. It's a lot bigger than from out front." The mailman said the same thing in Cobra Kai in those last 5 episodes. I was like, that's weird for him to say. I didn't realize.
What are you talking about, the mailman?
The mailman, when he comes in. Also, it's great seeing Miyagi's house in this, and then
wait, are you back? What are you talking about right now?
Wait, hold on 1 second.
I'm all over the place.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
Yeah, what are you talking about? What mailman?
It was earlier when they're in the backyard and the guy comes to deliver the mail.
We're talking about the goddamn final scene, and you're talking about the mailman.
Oh, okay. Wait.
I was completely confused. I was like, where are we
talking about?
My mind was jumping all over the place.
We're still talking about the best scene when he freaking claps his hands to heal him, and you're going, yeah, and the mailman.
You know what? For some reason, I remember as a kid seeing him like put his hands on the leg, but that never happens. I don't know.
No,
why.
I think that the reason why Imran lost his track is because he was talking about all the things they did in Cobra Kai that they brought back
straight out of this movie.
That's
you're accelerating so fast through this right now
because there are a lot of things that Cobra Kai did bring back, but one of the things that they didn't do is they didn't have. No one knew how to do the Miyagi trick to like heal the leg,
right?
But then the guy said, "Well, your leg's broken; you can't heal it."
Yeah,
right,
so,
right.
They never said that to Danny, so I think maybe there was a little wiggle room there.
Yeah, but, I think he's probably got like a torn ligament or a sprain or something like that.
Yeah,
I mean, also like to your point of the guys didn't want to do it. As soon as the guy does it, he apologizes to Daniel like instantly.
Right,
feels bad. I was like, oh shit, these guys didn't want to do it. And then the moment he comes back, they're about to announce Johnny is the winner, and then Ali runs up, and you're like, "Oh shit, he's gonna do it!" He hobbles in.
The music in that scene where it's like dun-dun-dun, like a dun, and it's the teenage version of what Rocky music is.
Oh yeah, it's totally the same vibe as Rocky.
Yeah,
and I love how Daniel's winning. He's up 2-0, and then Kreese tells Johnny to sweep the leg. The sweep the leg moment. And Johnny ties it up, and you're like, "Fuck, that's dirty." You know,
he also catches his leg and elbows him in the knee.
Yes, he re-injures it, and then that's when you hear "Get him a body bag" in the background, which I believe was an ad-lib line, but it's fantastic. And then Johnny walks right into that crane kick and really sells it. It still looks good. It looks like he fucking kicked him in the face.
See, now the thing about the crane kick. Miyagi says, if do right.
Yes, no defense.
No, there's no defense. So you have to know exactly when to use it. You can't, it's not an all-purpose move. Like he said, only if you do it right.
Yeah.
The timing on it.
Yeah, you have to time it just
it's
exactly.
Like the last resort.
And we know that kick is bullshit. But like still, they, at least when you're writing something, they knew to like give it that. Where you can be like, oh, he's got it. This is not an all-encompassing move. This is something that you have to do a certain way. And they wrote it that way so it makes more sense. It's not like, oh, I got to believe that this can take anybody down.
Well, for what it's worth, just on the note of the bullshit kick, it actually has knocked out a few UFC fighters. So,
oh, really?
But they don't put the hands up like that, but they have thrown that like front jumping kick, and it's knocked out a few guys. So if done correctly, it can work in the real fight.
So kick to the head is legal point? I guess it is.
In this tournament?
Yeah, in this tournament, I guess it is.
Yeah. It's anything above the waist. But then there is a part where Johnny hits him in the head and they don't count it.
Yeah.
So it's a little weird.
Yeah, they do the same thing in Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
But my other thing about the crane kick was always he was standing. He had his injured leg up, right? In the start. So he had to hope that his injured leg doesn't buckle while he's trying to kick powerful with the other leg.
Was it he had the injured leg up? I forget.
I think so. Either way, one of the legs is injured, and how's it happen? It works. It's fine.
Well, I mean, it's built on the fact that he was standing on that. I don't even know what you call that on the beach.
Right, the little post.
Trying to learn about balance.
Yeah. That was great seeing him try to do it, and Miyagi and all the water training. And then you get Johnny going, "You're all right, LaRusso," and then the movie just ends with Miyagi beaming, smiling.
Well, not only that, it ends on a freeze frame, which is
of its
time.
Yes. So what I misremembered, I also watched this.
You want to talk more about the mailman?
I watched the second movie because it was right there. So I just went. I was like, let me watch the second one. Second one's also fantastic and great.
Second one's really good too.
But
Second one's great.
I forgot
Love
that
the
the
second one.
beginning of the second one was it starts right after the end of this movie. I thought all that shit was at the end of this movie. And the second one,
one's awesome.
the second one ends exactly the same way.
Well, no, the second one at some point we should review.
It's
fucking awesome,
I was surprised. It was really good because
The trailer for that second one,
Yeah.
go back and watch the trailer.
Yeah.
The trailer for that second one is epic. The tagline is, "This time the fighting is real."
Yeah. No tournament.
That's fucking awesome.
And like Chosen is such a great character on Cobra Kai. And
Save
you
it.
forget that he wanted to fucking kill him.
Save
He
it.
legit wanted to just kill him. Anyways, okay. Miyagi has the best lines. Any other favorite lines of Miyagi's that we
Oh, I want to talk about this movie in another context,
Okay.
not just
Yeah.
just the acting.
Yeah.
We talked about the music being epic, and it is. The music is, even the music, the needle drops, all that stuff are all great.
Yeah.
You're the
Mhm.
best around. The fucking the sappy song they play when they're at golf and stuff.
yeah.
Can you feel the night? Like all that
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
So I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but they're all like memorable, and they all work. Cruel Summer, Bananarama.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so the music's kicking and the music is great. But you know what? The cinematography is kind of good.
Oh,
It's
Oh,
like kind of
interesting.
great. There's that shot of Danny
Yes.
on the boat.
With the ocean
doing the-
behind him. Yes.
It just
Beautiful.
looks so memorable.
Yeah.
And like, I think that the movie's pretty well shot. I really do think that there are these long takes and there are these good framing of the fight scenes
Oh yeah.
and all that stuff. And like, it's just it's memorable. It's done so well. It's created this. It is like a Rocky for little kids. It really is. It really is. That same kind of realism, but also that like heroic story. It's just, it's cinematic.
I like that point, and that was one of the questions I was going to ask, which or tying into what makes this movie an all timer or a great one. And that you mentioning the cinematography, that is, I didn't think of the cinematography. I did when I was watching the movie and saw the action scenes. I went, these guys are actually in there. Now they're not doing crazy shit.
Yeah.
But you like a lot of the 80s movies, you would cut to some of the action scenes and you're like, that's not Arnold. That's not Eddie, right?
Yeah.
This movie does a good job, or these guys are actually doing the work, because the action is shot really well, and there's not these cut scenes where you can be like, oh, that's not him.
Ralph Macchio did all of his own stunts except for like two things: the falling down, when he gets run off the road, they almost fucking kill him.
When he falls down the hill.
When he falls down the hill, and then when he jumps over the car when he's running from Cobra Kai outside the high school dance. Outside of that, he did all his own stunts. That was not Pat Morita fighting though. Pat Morita had no.
Yeah, Pat Morita
karate
clearly
skills.
a stunt person.
Okay, well that they did a good job though of having him in the shadows, so you're not like, that's clearly not him.
But Zabka and the rest, and like this,
They're all there.
The skeleton crew, that could all been stuntmen since they all have their faces covered. But you buy it, it works. It's all very good.
Interesting. Well, did you know? Fun fact.
Well, I got some fun facts about this movie. Yeah.
Well, we'll get into more fun facts, but just one right off the bat. Did you know that Chad Stahelski's in this movie?
What? No, I did not know that. Where is he? Who is he?
He plays. Oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Never mind. I went down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Of clicking on what Pat Morita was in.
Yeah.
And I clicked on Bloodsport 3. And I just realized I was on Bloodsport 3's wiki and on the cast, and I saw Chad Stahelski.
Chad Stahelski's in Bloodsport 3.
And I thought I was looking at Karate Kid.
That's still a fun fact, though. I did not know
It is fun.
Stahelski is in.
It has nothing to do with anything. So let's just keep moving on. Well, what on that note though, not on that note, but on like the overall great, like what makes this movie as great, and do you guys consider it timeless, where anyone can watch this and be like, yep.
Yeah.
I think you could show this to any, like a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old or a teenager, and they'll get something out of it. They're not going to be bored watching it, even though it is a slow movie. I think that the drama of the situation, if you're old enough to understand like boy likes girl, and bully, like those concepts, like right then and there, you're in. Like there's no way you're going to watch this movie and be like, nah, it's not for me. Like you're going to probably give it a little bit of time.
There's so many universal things, right? Like it's a fish out of water story. It's an underdog story. It's like you said, a guy that gets the girl story. It's about a found family. And all these things are timeless and universally relatable. And it's a perfect mixture.
Well, and it's the found family thing. It works both ways, right? So when you start the movie, you're in Danny's viewpoint.
Yeah.
And he's looking for guidance. He's looking for someone to lead him. He's looking for a mentor. He comes across Miyagi. But then you realize through this movie that Miyagi was equally lost.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a family. Like Danny is like his grandson that he never would have had, that he never had. Because obviously his son dies or his kid dies and his wife dies. And he's just this lost dude that's by himself. So they both gain something out of each other. And it's like, it is like father, son, uncle, grandfather, son, but it's also just like friendship.
Yep.
Like even though this old guy and this young kid have probably nothing in common, they become like the best of friends.
Just the little moments between them. That
good. Moment again where I'm repeating, but when he tells him like you're the best friend I ever had, I was like, damn, that's fucking deep.
Yeah, well, I think that Daniel's curiosity in the beginning of the movie and the fact that he can tell that they have something in common. They both Daniel doesn't feel like he belongs there.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think maybe Miyagi had that feeling when he was younger.
Yeah.
Before this became his home. So he could see that, and he could see himself. If you know anything about Miyagi from the second movie, you learned about his past.
Yep.
And he had issues with bullies, and he had issues with having to stand up and fight for his life. So all these things, I feel like he gravitates towards Daniel, and Daniel gravitates back towards him, and they both heal each other. It's a very beautiful film.
It's a beautiful story.
When you think about it that way. And I like movies like that. I like movies like The Fisher King, where there's two broken people and they both fill each other's gaps, and they're able to actually grow. Like there's growth at the end of this movie. Danny's not the same guy that you start the movie with. I think that he
learned balance.
Yeah, he learns about life. He learns about that. He was being very. I don't think that they do enough for him with the relationship with his mom at all. Yeah. I think because they want to center on Miyagi, but I feel like whatever he learns from Miyagi or whatever he's getting from Miyagi is probably helpful to his mom. She probably loves that he's in his life.
Yeah, you get to get the sense by the end of the movie that Danny is a better person. Like he's probably improved all aspects of his life because of this relationship.
And they're family. I mean, they're like absolutely family now.
And I mean, even his courage and the way he fights and the way he even earns the respect of Johnny at the end, where Johnny's like, "You're not so bad.
You're all right.
You're all right." It is. I agree with Ruggs completely. Like, beautiful is the right way to describe this movie. As ridiculous as it is, right? Like looking.
We're talking about Karate Kid,
right?
And a lot of people would just sit there and go, "Get the fuck out of here! You're crazy!" But no, if you really look at it, and especially in the context of what movies are today, how they really have nothing going for them, you realize that some of these things, like you can't make this movie again, and they've tried.
They took their time with the character moments, which is something I feel like you don't really get anymore. The chopstick scene we talked about last week, still hilarious. Oh, he gets mad.
Well, and it's similar to Rocky in that even though in this one he wins, Rocky doesn't win.
Yeah.
The tournament, the movie doesn't necessarily revolve around the tournament. Like the tournament's important. But as Miyagi said, it's not about the winning or the losing. It's about like getting out there and just defending yourself and proving to yourself that you can be that guy.
You want to know what the great thing about this is that Miyagi is written so economically.
Yep.
He doesn't say a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
But he says a lot.
Yeah.
Like just in the scene where he's telling him how to punch, he doesn't mince words. He just gets down to the very core of it. Use your body.
Yeah.
Do this, drive the punch with your body, with your legs. And Like that's essentially you cut down all the other technicalities. That is, yes, he says, all the power is in your legs.
Mm-hmm.
So even when he's training him, he said, look in the eye, always look.
Oh, yes.
When they look the other person.
Yeah.
Always have eye contact. Always look at what you're doing.
My favorite is paint the fence. So he goes, long stroke. Long stroke.
But he tells him all he needs to know in those short little bursts. And we can talk about what he says for like hours, right? So there's something there to that writing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's just very, I mean, it's almost a perfect film.
It kind of is. It's kind of just everything. It just comes
for what
together.
It wants to achieve. Yeah. It's there.
Right, that circle.
I mean, I'm sure if I turned my glasses on and to really rip this movie apart, I could. But I think it does so many things well that I can't really fault it that much.
It does. Did we really need the whole montage of them driving across country? Like,
no,
it was unnecessary. It could have just started with him getting there, but whatever.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, I love.
I forgot that they do waste about 5 minutes with that. But
a little bit of fluff, but the runtime is still. I was longer than I thought. Like it's over 2 hours. I was like, oh shit, I forgot it was this long. And I thought the beginning of Karate Kid 2 was at the end, and that was originally the plan, but they changed it.
What about the mailman? No, I'm just kidding.
Here's some fun facts. But the mailman, the referee with a mustache of the final fight in the tournament, he was the fight choreographer, Pat E. Johnson, fight instructor, choreographer. At the time, DC Comics had a comic book called Karate Kid. They had a character called Karate Kid. They let them use the name, they thank them in the credits. In the credits, you will see, thank you, DC Comics, which is weird.
I always wonder when they make this stuff, especially in the 80s, like, did they know this was going to be a thing? Did they know that they had something here?
I mean, the pitches in the 80s must have been wild. The fact that all these movies came out.
I do think that Rocky came out.
Yeah.
It was a thing.
Yeah.
It was a huge sensation.
76.
Yeah.
So, and then I think Rocky 2 had come out by then, or no?
Yeah, Rocky 2 had been out.
So they trust this team. They've proven success.
Well, so they know they're like, let's get Advilson another movie about an underdog fighting someone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they did. I mean, they made a completely different film, but it has a lot of the same beats. He's like he's an Italian. Like, you got to make him Italian. And, down on his luck, okay? And so he's like an underdog. And so there's a lot of that little DNA from, like, Rocky. And they knew that Rocky, like, it was hitting, and they just needed another Rocky. But they were brilliant to kind of appeal to, like, young kids.
Yeah. Well, you've also got the similar, like, Rocky has the relationship with Mick, this older guy.
Yeah.
It's not, they're not at all the same, but it's similar enough. Like when Danny is with Mr. Miyagi, and Mr. Miyagi's all drunk and out of it and venting about stuff. Yeah. It reminded me of the scene in the original Rocky when Mick comes by and says he wants to train him, and Rocky explodes on him. And this is like, you've never been, now you want to train me? It's snakes. And then he leaves, and then he runs out, and they play the music where he like convinces, like he realizes he just yelled at the guy and comes back. Like it's not at all the same scene, but it's very similar in that, like, it's this old guy and this younger person bonding over like a tough moment in their life.
And I mean, I think this movie really did make a lot of kids sign up for karate classes. Like, even the fact that Miyagi explains what the word means and the two parts of it. I think I remember after this, there was a lot of karate.
Did you sign up?
I did. I said Taekwondo for like 6 months, but there was a lot of copycat movies, and it was like a fucking craze. I remember that because of this movie. Very influential. Alternate castings. Originally, the role of Daniel offered to Sean Penn, who had just done Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and Charlie Sheen. Both of them turned it down, which is good because he's Ralph Macchio. It's perfect. The character was also going to be called Daniel Weber, and then they made. Oh no! Yeah, Macchio. It has to be Italian. Oh, Japanese actor Toshiro Mifune, who had made 16 movies with Akira Kurosawa, who was in Seven Samurai, auditioned for the part of Miyagi, and they thought he would be too serious. And then they thought Pat Morita would be too comedic, but then Morita does what he does and gets the part.
I think they made the right choice.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Like this is all time role.
I mean, Toshiro Mifune is great, but I think that he would have made it into a different film.
You're the Best Around was originally written for Rocky 3. Instead, that movie goes with Eye of the Tiger. Then they offered the movie to Flashdance. That movie goes with Maniac. You're a Maniac. And this was the last choice. Ended up in this movie, and it works in this movie.
Wow, I'm looking at who was considered for John Danny LaRusso. There's a lot more people.
Who else was? Who was hot at the time?
So you said Sean Penn and Charlie Sheen, right? Other names: Robert Downey Jr.
Oh shit!
John Cryer.
Oh shit!
Emilio Estevez, Nicolas Cage, Anthony Edwards, C. Thomas Howell, Tom Cruise, Eric Stoltz, and D.B. Sweeney.
You know what? Because Macchio was in the Outsiders between this,
that's why
and that was
it.
the whole fucking cast of the Outsiders, pretty much right there.
For Johnny, the big name that was almost cast as him was Crispin Glover.
Oh, that would have been weird. He's weird.
What about Patrick Swayze?
Swayze might have been
Swayze. I think Swayze was too old.
Yeah.
Too old and too old looking. There.
Ralph Macchio does get that car.
Ralph Macchio in The Outsiders. I mean, that scene where he's in the bed dying.
Yeah.
And that's also
a good movie.
Some good role. Yeah, it was a good movie too.
Oh, the other line I thought was weird from this movie where he goes, "What is it? Take a worm for a walk week?" I was like, these are the insults they had in the 80s. I don't know why I said that. And then Daryl Vidal is the guy who plays Danny Duvall, and he's the referee. And there was a Saturday morning cartoon. I already mentioned that. Nacho did all stunts. The beginning of Karate Kid 2 is supposed to be the beginning of this movie, the end of this movie, but it wasn't.
I have one final comment.
Yes.
Does it bother you that the Cobra Kai that's in this movie is not the Cobra Kai in the show? When the whole show is about Cobra Kai.
What do you mean?
Because isn't the new Cobra Kai in a strip mall?
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't.
Well,
this is on a corner.
If you're following the Cobra Kai from, I think in 3 and maybe it was even in 4. I'm not sure if it was in 4.
Does it get shut down?
I think it gets pretty disgraced by the end.
They probably
shut down.
Left. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I
know 3. It gets it by the end of that. They're pretty disgraced.
So like this gym that Cobra Kai that Johnny sets up is not the original Cobra Kai.
No, he reignites it.
It's across from the restaurant where Daniel's mom works, even though she was like, I work for a computer company and that's why we're moving. And then she worked in a restaurant. I don't know.
She has 2 jobs.
Okay, so this is double income. She had to
Single mom
had to hold down 2 jobs. Absolutely. Oh, and then Miyagi fixes his bike for free. Like all these little things leading up is so good. All right. Anyways, Anthony, final thoughts. What does this movie mean to you? Give me a number, a rating.
Yeah, I mean, I always will have a special place for the Karate Kid. As I mentioned earlier, I did see it as a kid. Didn't connect. It's not one of those I loved it as a kid movies. It's a movie that I loved as a teenager.
Yeah.
I specifically in high school remember watching this one, Karate Kid 2, and just being like, these movies, like this is like parts of these movies how I want my life to be. Like, like they were just so seminal in terms of teaching me about like life and like different things, and then even revisiting as an adult because of the fact that we're doing the Cobra Kai thing. So it's just this movie has always be important. That's like kind of sappy to say, but it's always been an important part of my movie going experience. So yeah, Karate Kid. Do you want me to rate it? Is that what you said?
Yeah, give me a number. Give me a number.
Oh, I mean, we can nitpick it, right? Like there's some bad ADR at some points, and it is a time capsule of its time, part of its time with the things that they're doing and wearing and saying, but it's a good time capsule. I mean, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Perfect movie, in my opinion, and spawned this great franchise, right? With Karate Kids and Cobra Kai and all that. I do have a question for you guys at the end, but I'll let you guys go into your ratings.
Yeah, franchise not done yet. Still going. Ruggs.
Still going.
Ruggs.
40 years later.
I know, it's crazy. Ruggs, what would you give this movie? What final thoughts?
Yeah, this film has always been there for me. It's something that whenever I watch it, I get sucked into it. I really do enjoy it. I think that It's something I watched with my brothers. I watched it with my dad, watched it with my friends, and we all liked it. We all, thought it was ridiculous that this wimpy kid could beat up Johnny. And we thought that it was ridiculous that this old man could kick all these young kids' asses. And there is, the fact that Allie even likes Daniel for what reason, nobody knows. There's a lot of weird shit that goes on in this movie. But in my life, there are very few movies I could just watch anytime. And this is one of them that's a perfect 10.
Wow.
Damn.
10 out of rugs means a lot.
That's amazing. Yeah. No, it is almost a near perfect masterpiece of a movie, and it's teen wish fulfillment from the 80s done right. It is a coming of age movie that is something you experience as you're coming of age, as you grow up. Everyone's got to watch it. I will also give it a 10. I had a great time watching it again, and I, forgot some things, but this whole journey from that movie to seeing Cobra Kai is just a crazy franchise that it's still not over. I can't wait to see Cobra Kai Legends. But yeah, I'll give it a 10 too. It's fucking all timer.